Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have David Tice on the line, and the name of his firm is Moran Tice Capital Management, and he's co-portfolio manager of Moran Tice 2020 Fund. This interview is part of our iConnections New York series, where we bring you the best of those that are attending and participating in iConnections in New York. David, welcome to the show.
Glad to be with you, Adam.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. I want to get into some precious metals, equity theme. Let's get into that. We'll see what your stance is on that and maybe even a bullish thesis for precious metals. But before we get into that, iConnections. So I know next week we'll both be attending iConnections in New York City. What's your connection to the organization? Have you been before? Is this the first time? Give me some of the backstory, please.
Okay, so no, I'm a fan of iConnections. I have not been a long time a user. I've been to the Alt Miami about 3 months ago and, became a huge fan. They really know what they're doing. They are extremely professional and bring great people, and it's a great speed dating type atmosphere.
I like that. I haven't heard it. I've done like 100 interviews for them, and that's the first time somebody's brought that up. It is kind of like a speed dating for finance, right? Like for raising capital, for deploying capital, right? I think that's accurate.
It really is.
So just one step further here, what keeps you coming back? You said you were in Miami. I was in Miami too. I didn't see, but you were in Miami. What keeps you coming back?
Well, we have this exceptional performance, and we believe we have the best asset class on the planet right now, given where we are economically, globally, as well as domestically, and people are not paying attention. So iConnections provides a place where smart people with investment capital to deploy finds the best advisors and money managers and essentially puts them together, and both benefit because obviously the manager benefits by having more AUM, but the clients benefit by having an outstanding asset class that's diversified and different covariances, and therefore can really help.
That's awesome. Well said. And we'll go further into, I want to get into what you're doing at Moran Tice Capital Management as well. But before we do, how'd you get into this business? How'd you get into finance?
So I've been a money manager really going back since I was 30 and have always been a math guy and just understood Finance 101, and it just really appealed to me. I mean, I just loved learning about the DuPont model, breaking out a return on equity, and to me, it just charmed me. And ever since, being able to look at companies and look at valuations and look at the future, I mean, there's no better business in the world.
Yeah, that's great. When you were a kid, were you looking at the market, or was it when you were an adult? Did you already have a fascination with just business in general? I'm curious because it's interesting.
No, my mom actually had me get started watching Wall Street Week. And as a junior in college, I participated at Texas Christian University with the largest student-managed portfolio, which was done as a teaching opportunity, but we actually managed real money for the university's endowment.
Wow, what an amazing story. That's great. I had a feeling there was some more back there that you weren't telling me, David. That's great. I love it. It's a good story. Let's get into present day. So maybe start off by just giving us an overview of Moran Tice Capital Management, please.
Well, I'm a partner with Garrick Moran, who is really similar to me in terms of background. We're both macroeconomic portfolio managers. We've both been short sellers in the past. We're both believers in the Austrian School of Economics. We're both believers that manias can go on, that can really crush people with too much credit. And we're also both big believers in precious metals as being a great portfolio diversifier, and especially having the same economic views, we see the danger of fiat money, and therefore you could argue we're both curmudgeons in terms of looking at $39 trillion worth of debt and $100 trillion plus in terms of off-balance sheet liabilities. And we say, we've seen this movie before, gold and silver does very well to protect portfolios. And we're both skilled stock pickers in the space. And we know this is going to be a decade, we think, providing returns between 700% and 2,000%. And therefore, we have a vehicle hedge fund as well as individually managed accounts that will help clients take advantage of this arbitrage opportunity.
So let's go a little bit further into this, though. So the state of precious metals equities right like today, what are you seeing?
Well, we think mining equities, specifically in the precious metal space, which is gold and silver, are incredibly positioned for a huge run going forward, given all the massive debt and the lack of fiscal discipline that exists in the system, and the fact that our global competitors are railing against the dollar because they realize as we've printed money and continue to expand the Fed's balance sheet, we are undermining, the global financial system and essentially exporting inflation to the rest of the world, which is allowing our U.S. constituents to be able to earn an outsized profitability and better standard of living for our dollar-based constituents. And therefore, they are lobbying against dollar hegemony, and that's why they formed this organization, BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, that have railing against the U.S. massive exposure to debt and saying that gold represents a good diversifier against that.
I want to switch the subject here slightly. Let's go further into gold. So is it a little too late for gold? I mean, given the last 18 months, or what are your thoughts on gold overall?
We are so early in terms of in this progression, not just for the bullion metal itself, but also for the mining equities. Okay, so let's talk about the second part of that first. The gold price did go from 1,800 to 5,400 pretty quickly. It's backed off to about 4,500 now, but the mining companies have gross margins and operating cash flows based on this huge increase in revenue. And therefore, the top line revenue number for all these mining companies is now $4,500 for gold, where it was $1,800. And the cost of mining an ounce of gold is roughly in the $2,000 range. And therefore, operating cash flows and profit margins have gone from a couple $100 an ounce to a couple $1,000 an ounce. And therefore, that means that profitability has gone through the roof. And the mining companies, one of the mining indices was up about 150% in 2025. But given that operating margins went up about 1,000%, these mining companies are still cheaply priced.
And so maybe kind of taking that a step further. So what's the position? What are you, the fund? Maybe get into the mechanics a little bit and kind of what your position is and what your plans are, I guess, going forward for this.
So we plan on just continuing to make money for our shareholders because we know that we're relatively early. We were up 279% in 2025. We believe between now and the end of 2029, we're going to be up another 1,000%. And there's history to that. Whenever you have long periods of a secular bull market in mining equities, so the 1930s, the 1970s, and the 00s were all periods where the mining equities, precious metals mining equities, were up 600%, 1,200%, and 1,600%. So this is a sector where the growth is going to go on for a while, and the bullion price is not going to go back to $2,000. We think it's going to stay above $4,500 and head towards $8,000 to $10,000 because central banks are now owning more bullion than they own U.S. Treasuries. And that's going to continue given our massive increase in debt and deficits that our U.S. Congress and President continue to preside over.
So, David, first off, before we end this, I'm going to definitely give you a chance to leave some info so that if people want to learn more about Moran Tice Capital Management, they can. But I also have a note here that says, talking about your documentary. So, Grid Down, Power Up, award-winning. Talk to me about that and what drives that initiative.
Yes, so this is really a third career that I've oriented towards. It's a award-winning documentary about the power grid and its vulnerability, and I'm trying to help save the country because I think I'm in possession of knowledge and wisdom about the vulnerability of our critical civilian infrastructure that could be either taken out by bad guys, adversaries, such as Iran, North Korea, China, and Russia, or a horrible solar storm, similar to what happened with the Carrington event, which is a coronal mass ejection or a geomagnetic disturbance. Either one of those events could take out our power grid for a long period of time and cause as many as 90% of American citizens to die.
And so how are you going to move? I haven't seen this film yet. Can we watch it? Is it out, or are you still making it? Like, give me a little bit of the backstory there. How do people watch it?
Yes.
I haven't seen it.
No, it's available now, and it's now available on it's on Tubi. It is on Newsmax. It's on Salem Now, as well as on EarthX TV. And so there's several ways you can watch it. We're soon hoping to get it on Amazon.
Fantastic. David, this has been great having you on the show today, getting to know a little bit more about your background, how you got started, also that you're going to iConnections next week and part of that community that's thriving. So if somebody's listening to this or watching this, and if they want to follow up and learn more about your company, follow your journey, how do they do that? All right.
So we have a website for our grid documentary called You Can Reach Me at iConnections next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'll be in New York at the conference. I'll be wearing a Grid Down, Power Up baseball hat. I'm on the app where I'm available for individual speed dating meetings. And my email is just real easy, dtice@tice.com. Tice is spelled T-I-C-E, dtice@tice.com.
Perfect. And for everybody listening, we'll definitely put a link to that movie so you can check it out, and also you can connect with David. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. You heard me correct. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well, so we don't want you to miss a thing. And David, thanks again for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, me too. Thank you, Adam. Bye.